Chosen one. You did not arrive here by accident. Something in your spirit was guided, summoned, drawn into this moment by divine appointment. Heaven has been whispering your name, preparing you for a supernatural breakthrough that has been waiting for your yes. Anointed one. You are standing at the edge of a divine wealth transfer, a season where God shifts what was withheld and releases what was ordained. The shaking you've felt is not danger, but alignment. For the Lord says, I will restore to you the years that were stolen. Open your spirit now. What you're about to hear is instruction for your elevation. Chosen one, deep down, you have always sensed that something in this world has been shifting, tilting, groaning under a weight that most people pretend not to feel. You walk through your days carrying questions no one around you seems brave enough to ask. Why does peace feel thinner than it used to? Why do conversations feel scripted, artificial, almost hollow? Why does the world look the same, yet feel completely different? It is because your spirit knows what your eyes cannot yet articulate. The foundations many have built their security on were never meant to last. And anointed one. I want to speak to the quiet ache inside you, the same ache that whispers at night, the same ache that tightens in your chest when the news speaks in riddles, the same ache that rises whenever you sense truth buried beneath noise. That ache is not weakness, it is spiritual intelligence awakening. I think about Harold, a widower from Tennessee, a gentleman with hands weathered by decades of labor, and a heart softened by love and loss. Every evening he keeps the TV on, not out of entertainment, but because silence makes the absence of his wife louder. He listens to anchors say one thing with perfect confidence, while his spirit says another. This isn't right, he murmurs to the empty chair beside him. What he feels is not confusion, it is discernment. And then there's Margaret, the grandmother who wakes at 4 a.m. to pray on her porch. She watches the darkness ease into dawn, as if the sky itself is exhaling. She has prayed before, but not like this, not with this weight, not with this urgency. Her prayers feel heavier, more strategic, as though heaven is tugging on her spirit and saying, stand here, watch here, listen here. She prays for children who feel like strangers now, for a nation she barely recognizes, for a church that sometimes looks more like a memory than a movement. Chosen one, do you recognize yourself in these moments? The ache, the restlessness, the urgency, they are not random. They are signs that heaven is waking you again. You have felt tremors in your spirit that no one else around you seems to understand. You've had nights where you stared at the ceiling, not scared, but aware, quietly aware. Something in you whispered, pay attention. Something in you nudged, get ready. Something in you knew, this is not anxiety, this is activation. For too long you've watched the fog of confusion roll across your life, media fog that twists truth into puzzles, medical fog that leaves you with more questions than answers, family fog that makes you wonder if you are the only one still hearing straight. But here is what the enemy hoped you would never discover. If the fog is real, the oil is too. And the oil is what keeps the light burning. Anointed one. Your light has never gone out, it has only been waiting for fuel. That stirring at 3 a.m. is not insomnia, it is invitation. That tension you feel when you watch the world speak confidently while your spirit disagrees is not paranoia, it is prophecy awakening in your bones. The moment you felt out of place in conversations that used to comfort you, that was heaven repositioning you. You may not realize this, but you have already crossed a spiritual threshold. The moment you began questioning what everyone else accepts, heaven marked you. You became the watchtower, the lighthouse, the sentinel on a hill who sees what others ignore. And let me make this clear. Chosen one, you are not being shaken apart. You are being shaken awake. Right now, I want you to take a breath and honor the truth your spirit has been trying to deliver to your mind. You are not losing your peace. You are outgrowing counterfeit peace. You are not becoming unstable. You are becoming spiritually sensitive. You are not falling behind. You are rising into alignment. In my own life, I remember standing in my kitchen lights, off house, quiet, and feeling a pressure in my chest that wasn't fear, but awareness. Nothing happened yet. Everything felt different. I knew God was shifting me into a new season, and I could feel the weight of choices waiting on the other side. I remember whispering God's name, and instead of answers, I felt an instruction settle into my spirit. Listen, that same instruction is resting on you now. You are entering what I call the turning the moment. Heaven separates noise from signal, confusion from clarity, distraction from direction. The turning is when God pulls you out of autopilot and into awakening. It's when you stop drifting and start discerning. It's when you stop eating what the world feeds you spiritually, mentally, physically, and begin to see the traps hidden beneath convenience. Chosen one, what you feel is not exhaustion, it is transition. And transitions always come with tremors. You are a temple, not a metaphorical one, a literal one. Your body, your mind, your spirit are the house God Himself chose to dwell in, and temples require consecration. This is why your spirit rejects what your flesh once tolerated. In the days ahead, not everything will feed you. Some things will poison your clarity. Some things will drain your discernment. Some things will silence the prophetic edge God placed inside you. But heaven is already ahead of you. Heaven has preserved what you need. Heaven has set aside what will keep your spirit clear and your path sharp. And in a moment, we will walk into that revelation. But before we go there, chosen one, write this down, even if only in your heart. This is my turning. Because after today, you will not walk blind into the world's fog again. Chosen one, there comes a time in every spiritual journey when the soul begins to recognize what the mind has not yet accepted. You have felt this shift. You have sensed a quiet trembling beneath the surface of your days, a gentle tug on the edges of your awareness, a whisper reminding you that something in the world no longer sits the way it used to. The peace people cling to feels paper-thin, the routines they worship feel empty, and the systems they trust feel unreliable. You feel this because your spirit is awake, and heaven has begun to sharpen your discernment for the days ahead. You are not the only one sensing this holy disruption. I think of Harold, a widower whose evenings are spent next to a flickering television. He does not watch because he enjoys the noise. He watches because silence now echoes with memories of his wife's laughter. And yet, as the news anchors speak with perfect certainty about an uncertain world, something inside him recoils. This isn't right, he whispers into an empty room. That whisper is not confusion. It is spiritual clarity waking up inside a man who has lived long enough to know when truth has been replaced by performance. Then there is Margaret, a grandmother whose mornings begin long before the sun rises. At 4 a.m., she steps onto her porch and watches darkness slowly soften. Her prayers have changed. They are not routine anymore. They are urgent, heavy, prophetic. She prays for grandchildren who feel like strangers now, for a nation she struggles to recognize, for a church that looks more asleep than alive. Her spirit, too, has been activated. She is not imagining the tension she feels, she is responding to it. Chosen one. You may not carry the same stories as Harold or Margaret, but your spirit recognizes their ache, because you too have felt the tremors. You have laid awake at night, not out of fear, but out of awareness. You have looked at the world and felt something pressing against your spirit, urging you to pay attention. These sensations are not signs of anxiety, they are signs of awakening. They are heaven's way of preparing you for a transition that cannot be delayed. The confusion you see in the world, the fog of misinformation, the chaos in families, the discord in society is not random. It is intentional, and your spirit has been pushing back against it. You have seen the fog on the news, the fog in public systems, the fog in conversations where people speak confidently while their words contradict your inner knowing. This fog is real, but so is the oil, and the oil is what keeps the light inside you burning. This is why the world feels louder, why the nights feel heavier, why your intuition has sharpened. You are not being unsettled, you are being positioned. That stirring at 3 a.m. is not insomnia, it is invitation. The discomfort you feel is not paranoia, it is prophecy beginning to hum in your bones. You are being called into a deeper clarity, a sacred alignment. Heaven is trying to get your attention because what comes next cannot be walked into casually. Part of your awakening involves your table, yes, the very place where you eat. For generations, the table was a sacred altar. Families prayed over food, not because it was habit, but because they understood nourishment as covenant. Abraham built an altar before his blessing arrived. Jacob built an altar before he became Israel. Moses consecrated the people before God shook the mountain. The altar always came before elevation. But somewhere along the way, the modern world turned your table into a battlefield. Nourishment became complicated. Food became industrialized. Grocery stores became mazes of colorful lies, boxes promising energy, clarity, health, longevity, but offering none of these things. What used to strengthen your body now fogs your mind. What used to nourish your spirit now drains it. The heaviness after meals, the sluggishness, the brain fog, the dullness in prayer. These are not random experiences. They are signs that the world has tampered with what was once simple and sacred. Yet, heaven has preserved something for you. 3 things, simple and pure, untouched by the corruption that has seeped into the modern food supply. 3 things that restore clarity, ground your spirit, and rebuild the alignment between body and soul. Before we explore them, you must understand the truth. Your spirit already knows. Your table is an altar, and whatever you place on it shapes not only your body, but your discernment. I remember walking through a grocery store once and feeling overwhelmed by the sheer amount of choices. Every shelf screamed for attention. Every product claimed to be essential. But beneath those claims, I felt a check in my spirit, a whisper saying, "Not this, not here." It was then I realized that the world had turned nourishment into confusion. And in that moment, I felt heaven gently reveal something: simplicity carries power. Chosen one. Heaven is calling you back to simplicity, not because life is shrinking, but because your spirit is expanding. You are being repositioned for clarity, for protection, and for supernatural alignment. The fog around you is real, but the fog within you is lifting, and when your altar is reset, your entire atmosphere will follow. This is your turning, and heaven is about to show you the path that will carry you through the days ahead. Chosen one. Now that your spirit has recognized the turning, it is time to understand the deeper battle unfolding around you, not the one fought in the streets or on the news, but the one fought in silence, in kitchens, in habits, in the unseen rituals of daily life. Heaven has been trying to draw your attention to something hidden in plain sight. Your table has become a battleground, and what you place upon it determines far more than your physical health. It shapes your spiritual clarity, your emotional stability, and your ability to hear divine instruction in a world drowning in noise. For generations, the enemy has not simply attacked through chaos or temptation. Sometimes the attack is subtle, disguised as convenience, disguised as comfort, disguised as normal life. And one of the greatest deceptions of this age is how nourishment, the most basic act of human survival, became contaminated by systems that do not honor life. You can feel it. You can sense it each time heaviness settles over you after a meal, each time your mind fogs for no reason, each time prayer feels harder than it used to. These are not coincidences. They are indicators that something has been tampered with. The modern world has transformed food into engineering. Grocery stores have turned nourishment into navigation. Shelves filled with processed creations, colorful, enticing, promising health, yet carrying no life. It is no longer a secret that the world prioritizes shelf life over soul life. But you, anointed one, cannot afford to live on what is engineered. You must live on what is ordained. Think for a moment about something very simple, real food used to come from soil, from water, from life. Now, much of what sits on shelves comes from laboratories, factories, and systems disconnected from creation itself. The body knows the difference. The spirit knows the difference. That subtle discomfort you felt when eating certain things, that heaviness that steals your peace, is your spirit trying to protect you. I once had a conversation with a friend who said, "Every time I eat what the world calls normal, I feel exhausted in my soul." That statement struck me deeply. Exhausted in the soul, not just the body, not just the mind, the soul, because the spirit cannot thrive on what has no life in it. As we talked, I realized this was not just his experience. It was a pattern I began to see in many people who walk closely with God. Their bodies rejected what their spirits discerned as contaminated. Chosen one. You have probably experienced the same thing, and it is not weakness, it is sensitivity. It is spiritual intelligence. It is heaven guarding you in ways you didn't recognize. But here is where the revelation becomes powerful. While the world has flooded the food supply with confusion, heaven has preserved a simple path. A path so pure and uncomplicated that most overlook it. A path consisting of 3 foundational gifts, 3 foods that ground, rebuild, and ignite your entire being. But before naming them again, I need you to fully understand why this matters. In the days ahead, what strengthens you will not be what strengthens the world. What fuels others will not fuel you. You are chosen for clarity, not chaos. And clarity requires alignment between what you consume, what you think, and what you hear from heaven. This is where the sacredness of your table becomes undeniable. An altar is not defined by appearance, it is defined by intention. When you sit at your table with reverence, when you bless what you eat, when you choose nourishment with spiritual awareness, you turn the ordinary into the divine. Elevation begins not in churches or conferences, but in kitchens where the spirit and the body come into agreement. The 3 foods. Heaven preserved for you, rice, beans, and salmon symbolize more than nourishment. They symbolize grounding, restoration, and ignition. Rice stabilizes your system. Beans rebuild what has been torn down. Salmon ignites your mind and restores clarity. Their power lies not in mystical superstition, but in God-given purity. They are simple. They are clean. They carry no confusion. Simplicity is not poverty, it is precision, and precision is what will carry you into the next season of your calling. Chosen one. Imagine what happens when your table becomes aligned with heaven. Imagine what happens when your body stops fighting hidden toxins and begins operating the way God designed it to. Imagine what happens when your mind lifts out of fog, your prayers sharpen, your discernment strengthens, your emotions stabilize, your sleep deepens, your spirit grows louder than the noise around you. The people around you may not understand why you feel different. They may not understand why certain foods make you uneasy, why certain habits feel heavy, why certain routines no longer sit right in your spirit. But this is not about them, this is about your assignment. Your clarity is not a luxury, it is a requirement. The days ahead will challenge many, but those who align with heaven's blueprint will walk through storms with unshakable stability. You are being prepared to stand while others fall apart. You are being equipped to hear God while others drown in confusion. You are being refined to carry wisdom that will be needed in the coming season. And that preparation begins not with grand gestures, but with sacred obedience at your table. The altar you build in your kitchen may become the very place where heaven downloads the strategies that shift your entire household. And the shift begins with 3 simple words: rice, beans, salmon. They are not just food, they are alignment, they are clarity, they are your beginning. Chosen one. Now that your spirit has begun to grasp the sacred simplicity heaven is restoring to your life, it is time to understand the deeper implications. What you are stepping into is not a diet, not a trend, not a temporary shift. It is a divine repositioning. Heaven is inviting you to reclaim what the world has stolen from your clarity, your vitality, and your spiritual sharpness. And to walk in that invitation, you must see the truth. The battle for your discernment has always been fought in places the world told you were insignificant. Let me take you deeper. While you have been fighting for your peace, your home, your sanity, and your calling, something else has been fighting you in silence, the very systems meant to nourish you. Grocery stores, food industries, and global markets have quietly shaped the way you eat, think, rest, and even pray. These systems are not neutral. They are designed to keep you circling, consuming, and craving more, while leaving your spirit malnourished and your mind fogged. It is a maze, beautifully designed, but spiritually dangerous. Chosen one. Imagine yourself walking into a brightly lit store. Fluorescent lights humming overhead, shelves lined with products wrapped in promises, boxes shouting about energy and vitality, labels filled with words no one can pronounce, cans that last for years, meals that never spoil. To the natural eye, it all seems normal, but to the awakened spirit, your spirit, something feels off. Something feels engineered. Something feels soulless. That sense of discomfort is not imagination, it is discernment. Because while the world feeds convenience, heaven feeds purpose. You may not realize how much of your fatigue, your emotional heaviness, and your cloudy thinking has been influenced by what you've unknowingly consumed. When your body is inflamed, your mind becomes heavy. When your mind is heavy, your spirit becomes muffled. When your spirit becomes muffled, your discernment weakens. And when your discernment weakens, you become vulnerable to confusion, the very weapon the enemy has used against this generation. But heaven is merciful. Heaven always leaves a path through the maze. In the days of Daniel, when Babylon attempted to reshape identity through food, culture, and routine, Daniel refused to be spiritually defiled by what was offered at the king's table. He understood something profound. What you consume becomes part of your spirit. And instead of surrendering to the system, he submitted to simplicity, vegetables, water, purity. Within days, he became sharper, stronger, clearer, and more discerning than any man around him. Chosen one. What Daniel lived is not just a story. It is a prophetic pattern. The world feeds you complexity. Heaven restores you through simplicity. This is why heaven preserved the 3 sacred foods for you. Rice grounds you when the world spins. Beans rebuild what life has torn down. Salmon ignites the mind that chaos tried to silence. These foods carry life because they were created in purity. They hold no hidden agendas, no engineered confusion, no spiritual weight that drags your discernment downward. They are, in essence, divine provisions for the days ahead. But the power of these foods is not only in what they give, it is in what they replace. When you choose what heaven has preserved, you simultaneously reject what has been harming you. You exit the maze. You silence the confusion. You take back the clarity that was stolen slowly, subtly, silently. Your table becomes your escape route, your exodus pathway out of the spiritual fog. I remember a moment in my own life when clarity hit me so hard it shook me. I had been praying for direction about a decision that felt impossible. I was exhausted, overwhelmed, clouded, not spiritually dry, but spiritually blocked. One evening I sat down at my table and realized it wasn't the prayers failing. It wasn't God being silent. It wasn't warfare blocking the answer. My vessel was simply too weighed down to receive what heaven was trying to say. Your body is not an obstacle to your spiritual life, it is the amplifier of it. When your temple is clogged, the voice of God feels distant. When your vessel is clear, his whispers feel like thunder. This is why heaven is so intentional about what you consume in this season. The days ahead will demand discernment like never before. You cannot afford to be spiritually sleepy, emotionally fragile, or mentally fogged. The world is moving into a time when confusion will be louder, deception will be subtler, and peace will feel rarer. But those who are aligned, those who are clear, those who are grounded, they will walk through chaos with supernatural calm. Chosen one. The clarity you are about to regain will not just benefit you. It will protect your family. It will reset your atmosphere. It will sharpen your vision. It will restore your prayer life. It will strengthen your household. It will open doors you didn't know were waiting. But it begins at your altar, your table. This is not a small shift. This is not symbolic. This is not metaphorical. This is spiritual preparation for a new season. Heaven is opening over your life. You are stepping into a divine rhythm, and heaven is inviting you to say yes. Chosen one. Once heaven begins to realign you, the transformation does not stay on the surface. It moves into the deepest parts of your being, touching places you thought were numb forever. The moment you say yes to sacred alignment, something shifts in the unseen. Clarity begins to return. Discernment sharpens. Your spirit rises out of the fog it has been trapped in for years. You do not simply feel better, you begin to remember who you truly are in God. And the more you walk in obedience, the more your soul awakens to its original design. At first, the signs arrive quietly. You wake with more peace than yesterday. You find a stillness in your chest where anxiety once lived. You pray, and instead of forcing the words out, they begin flowing naturally, gently, almost effortlessly. You don't realize it immediately, but something holy is taking root. Heaven is clearing the interference that has weighed you down. What once felt blurry begins to sharpen. What once felt heavy becomes lighter. What once felt confusing starts falling into place. I have witnessed this shift in my own life. I remember seasons where my mind felt fogged, my prayers felt weak, and everything inside me felt exhausted. But the moment I allowed heaven to reset my rhythm, to simplify my table, to consecrate my habits, clarity returned like a tide rolling in. My thoughts felt lighter, my heart felt steadier, prayer felt like connection again. It was not a dramatic experience, it was subtle, sacred, steady, and unmistakably divine. Chosen one. Heaven responds to alignment. When you begin honoring your vessel instead of ignoring it, heaven moves. When you choose clarity over convenience, heaven moves. When you create space for the Holy Spirit instead of space for distraction, heaven moves. Your sleep becomes deeper. Your emotions stabilize. Your reactions soften. The heaviness in your chest begins to lift, as though God Himself is exhaling peace into your lungs. And slowly you begin to feel like you again. Not the version of you shaped by stress, disappointment, or survival mode, but the version God formed before life hardened your spirit. The version that walked with spiritual authority. The version that could sense danger before it arrived. The version that used to feel God in rooms where others felt nothing. The version that dreamed prophetically. The version that prayed with boldness. That version is not gone. That version was waiting for the right fuel. One of the first signs of your spiritual restoration is the return of your dreams. At night, your spirit becomes active again. You begin receiving symbolic messages, warnings, insights, confirmations, and instructions with a clarity you haven't experienced in years. You wake not confused, but knowing. Dream after dream begins to carry weight, meaning, and direction. You feel heaven speaking to you again, not distantly, but intimately. And it doesn't stop there. Your discernment returns with extraordinary strength. You look at situations and instantly see the truth behind them. You sense people's intentions before they reveal them. You feel God tugging on your spirit when choices arise. You know what is right for you and what is not without needing explanations. This is not paranoia. It is spiritual intelligence waking up inside you. For years, your discernment was muffled by the fog that clouded your spirit. But now, with your vessel clearing, it rises again, sharp, precise, steady. Your spirit leads, and your mind finally follows. Emotions begin to shift next. The irritability you used to feel over small things slowly dissolves. The frustration that once erupted out of nowhere becomes rare. The sadness you carried like a quiet weight lightens. The stress that lived in your shoulders loosens its grip. Why? Because your body and spirit are no longer at war. They are in agreement. And when your inner world changes, your relationships follow. You speak with gentleness where you once reacted sharply. You listen with patience where you once felt overwhelmed. You see your family not through exhaustion, but through compassion. You engage conversations with clarity rather than tension. People around you notice the difference not because you preach more, but because you carry more peace. This is the fruit of sacred alignment. This is what happens when your altar, your table, becomes a place of obedience instead of convenience. But perhaps the most life-changing shift happens in your prayer life. For so long you prayed while carrying heaviness, distraction, and spiritual noise. But once your vessel clears, prayer transforms. It becomes communion, not labor. It becomes flow, not effort. You speak, and heaven answers. You sit in silence, and God fills it. You ask a question, and clarity rises before you finish the sentence. This is not imagination. This is spiritual acceleration. Heaven accelerates those who align. Because God does not bring clarity without purpose. He restores your mind, emotions, and spirit because you are being positioned for a divine assignment, a financial breakthrough, a supernatural opportunity, or a prophetic promotion that requires a clear vessel. You cannot carry the next blessing with yesterday's fog. You cannot step into the next season with yesterday's confusion. You cannot hear heaven's instruction with the world's interference buzzing inside you. This is why heaven began with your table. Your table is the gate. Your vessel is the channel. Your clarity is the weapon. And chosen one, as your vessel clears, as your spirit awakens, as your altar strengthens, you are becoming unstoppable. You are rising into the version of yourself that heaven always knew you would be. You are stepping into a season where confusion falls away and divine clarity becomes your inheritance. You are walking toward the purpose for which you were preserved. Your awakening has begun. Chosen one, as your spirit awakens and your vessel comes back into alignment, heaven begins to draw you into a deeper truth. Awakening cannot survive without rhythm. Clarity cannot remain without structure. And spiritual strength cannot be maintained without a sacred routine that honors what God is building inside you. What you are stepping into now is not simply a moment of revelation, it is the beginning of a lifestyle, a divine cadence that sustains everything heaven is preparing you to carry. This next chapter of your life cannot be navigated with the scattered habits of your past. You are not returning to who you used to be, you are rising into who you were always meant to become. And that version of you, the spiritually sharp, emotionally grounded, prophetically attuned version, requires a daily alignment that keeps your spirit clear and your atmosphere steady. Heaven is teaching you the rhythm of clarity. It begins the moment you wake. Before you scroll, before you speak, before you rush into responsibilities, you must let your spirit lead the day. When your eyes open, whisper in your heart, "Today, I choose clarity, not confusion." This small declaration sets the spiritual frequency of your entire day. It tells heaven you are available and tells darkness you are off limits. It is the first act of authority you claim over your mind. Then comes a sacred act disguised as simplicity, warm water. Not coffee first, not sugar, not stimulation, just warm water. This gentle cleansing symbolizes what God is doing in your spirit. It washes away yesterday's heaviness and prepares your inner world to receive fresh instruction. It is a physical reflection of a spiritual truth. You are beginning again, lighter and clearer. Afterward, you open a psalm. Not to read quickly or academically, but to feed the heart. Each verse becomes nourishment, tuning your thoughts and softening places hardened by years of stress. You let David's words settle into you like medicine, slow, intentional, restorative. This is not about finishing a chapter, it is about letting the word align you before the world challenges you. Then comes the altar, your table. Your plate becomes a visual sermon. You prepare it with intention, half rice to ground your body, beans to rebuild what life has broken down, and salmon to ignite your mind with clarity and strength. You season lightly, honoring the purity of what nourishes you. This meal is no longer just food, it is covenant, it is alignment, it is obedience expressed through simplicity. When you finish, you step outside for a 5-minute walk. This is not exercise, it is activation. With each slow step, you whisper 3 things you are grateful for. Gratitude closes the door to old patterns and opens the gate to acceleration. Gratitude tunes your spirit to heaven's frequency, making room for clarity to grow. Then your day unfolds, but now you move through it differently. You carry peace instead of reactivity. You respond from a grounded place instead of emotional instinct. Conversations feel lighter, decisions feel clearer, and your inner world feels steadier. You begin to realize clarity is not a feeling, it is a posture. But your sacred rhythm does not end in the morning. Heaven invites you into an evening cadence as well. Before screens and noise pull your attention away, you turn everything off for 30 minutes and reflect. You write one simple line, "Where did I feel God today?" One sentence becomes an anchor. One honest moment reconnects your spirit to divine presence. You do not need paragraphs, you need awareness. Awareness is what keeps your heart sensitive. Then comes the practice almost forgotten in modern life, the Sabbath basket. When someone comes to mind, a child, a struggling friend, a neighbor in need, you write their name on a small paper and gently place it in the basket. This transforms your table into a place of intercession. Every meal becomes a moment where heaven is invited to move in the lives of those you love. Yet heaven also desires partnership. You cannot walk this journey alone. So you choose one person, just one, to join you for 7 days. Each evening you exchange a single question: did you honor the sacred foods today? This is not pressure, it is spiritual companionship. Agreement multiplies strength. Alignment shared becomes alignment reinforced. Think of a marching band warming up, chaotic, disconnected, full of noise. But the moment they tune into the same key, the noise becomes music. This is what happens when two chosen ones walk in the same prophetic rhythm. And here is the truth. Heaven keeps whispering over you. You are not fragile. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are chosen. Your home is about to feel like morning again. Your table is about to carry peace again. Your atmosphere is about to shift. Your clarity is about to stabilize. This rhythm is not about perfection. It is about presence. Not about performance, but alignment. Not about ritual, but restoration. Heaven is teaching you how to sustain the awakening inside you. The rhythm you establish now will shape the season you walk into next. And what God is preparing to reveal will require the clarity, discipline, and spiritual sensitivity you are cultivating in these days. This is not the end of your awakening. It is the structure that will protect it. Chosen one, now that your spirit has entered this sacred rhythm, heaven is preparing to unfold something even deeper, the revelation of why this alignment matters so urgently. You have not been led into this journey for self-improvement or temporary comfort. You are being positioned for divine strategy, supernatural insight, and a level of spiritual clarity that will shape the next chapter of your destiny. What you are feeling in this season, the pull towards simplicity, the craving for peace, the desire to cleanse your vessel, it is not random. It is preparation. Heaven sharpens those who are about to be entrusted with more, and you, anointed one, are entering a season where God is not just restoring what was lost, but revealing what was hidden. When your body clears, your spirit rises. When your spirit rises, your discernment awakens. And when your discernment awakens, heaven begins to speak in ways you could not hear before. It may begin subtly, a sense of knowing where there was once uncertainty, a sudden clarity about relationships, decisions, or opportunities. A quiet voice within you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." You will notice divine timing aligning around you, conversations appearing at the right moment, instructions coming with precision, provision appearing unexpectedly. This is not coincidence. This is spiritual visibility being restored. Because clarity is not just for your peace. Clarity is for your assignment. You are entering days when confusion will rule many hearts, when fear will cloud many minds, and when the world will wrestle with instability. But you aligned, awake, anchored will move with supernatural calm. You will perceive danger before it forms. You will recognize deception before it unfolds. You will discern opportunities before others notice they exist. This is why heaven is rebuilding your inner world, so your outer world can expand. Chosen one. You are stepping into a phase where the instructions you receive will not be gentle suggestions. They will be doorways. Every whisper from God may carry the direction for breakthrough. Every nudge may carry the seed for increase. Every moment of obedience may become the key to the wealth transfer heaven has been preparing for you. You are not being refined for survival, but for influence. Not for escape, but for assignment. Not for smallness, but for destiny. Your clarity is becoming your crown. Your obedience is becoming your armor. Your alignment is becoming your advantage. You are being prepared for more, and heaven is almost ready to reveal the next step. Chosen one. As we continue this sacred unfolding, hear this clearly. Heaven is not merely adjusting your habits. Heaven is restructuring your future. Every shift happening in you is intentional, precise, divinely engineered. You may think you are simply eating differently, resting differently, or praying differently, but in truth, you are being reintroduced to the version of yourself that heaven has been waiting for. The fog you carried for years is lifting. The heaviness you mistook for aging is dissolving, and the numbness that once muted your spirit is being replaced with a fire that refuses to be quiet. This is not improvement. This is resurrection. What you are experiencing is the return of spiritual authority. It is the return of the voice within you that once spoke with conviction. It is the return of the clarity you used to trust without hesitation. It is the return of the intuition that once guided your steps with precision. And the more your internal atmosphere shifts, the more external doors will begin to respond. This is because the spiritual realm does not react to effort. It reacts to alignment. You are aligning, anointed one. And everything connected to your purpose is starting to awaken as well. Even now, divine timing is recalibrating around you. Conversations that should have happened years ago will suddenly reappear. Opportunities once blocked will open without resistance. People who once overlooked you will begin to recognize what they previously could not see. Do not mistake any of this for coincidence. You are stepping into the gravitational field of your destiny, and destiny pulls everything that belongs to you back into order. But hear this sacred truth. Not everything from your past can follow you into what God is building next. And that is why this purification process began with your body. Your body is the doorway. Your body is the first altar. When your body is cleared, your spirit can ascend. When your spirit ascends, your perception sharpens. And when your perception sharpens, the wrong attachments fall away on their own. You will notice it without trying. Certain environments will feel too heavy. Certain conversations will feel too draining. Certain relationships will feel misaligned. This is not rejection, this is spiritual sorting. Heaven is removing what no longer matches the frequency of your future. You are not losing people. You are losing interference. You are not being isolated. You are being insulated. God is not taking things away from you. He is securing the pathway for what is coming, because what is coming requires a level of purity in your decisions, strength in your mind, and clarity in your spirit that cannot be compromised. Chosen one. This is the season where you will begin to move with supernatural discernment. You will hear instructions that are small, yet impossible to ignore. Call this person. Wait one more day. Turn left instead of right. Release this burden. Say yes here. Say no there. These whispers will not feel like thoughts. They will feel like direction. You may not understand the full picture, but heaven will give you enough light for the next step, and each step will reveal the next doorway. That is how destiny unfolds. Not all at once, but through obedience to the present moment. And when you honor the present moment, the future begins to open like a scroll written with your name on it. But hear this as well, with every increase comes responsibility. God is opening doors for you, not so you can escape life, but so you can elevate within it. Divine wealth is not only money, it is wisdom, it is health, it is discernment, it is influence, it is the ability to move through a chaotic world with supernatural stability. And all of this, every blessing, every breakthrough, every promotion begins with the alignment you are walking in right now. This is why you must guard this rhythm with your life. Feed your clarity, protect your peace, honor your temple, follow the whispers, because the next phase of your assignment is approaching like a dawn you cannot stop, and heaven needs you ready, steady, and spiritually awake. Chosen one, the mantle is already resting upon your shoulders. Now heaven is preparing to activate it. Chosen one, as we reach the end of this sacred message, let your heart recognize the truth you were drawn here by divine timing. Heaven is not preparing you for something small. You are standing in a kairos moment, a moment where clarity rises, strength returns, and the supernatural transfer meant for your life begins to unfold. What stirred inside you today is confirmation that God is aligning your steps, cleansing your atmosphere, and positioning you for what only the anointed can carry. Anointed one, you are leaving this moment more awakened, more protected, and more spiritually tuned than when you arrived. The fog is breaking. The path is opening. Your spirit is stepping into a new rhythm of obedience, peace, and revelation. Guard what you felt today. Honor the whisper. Walk with expectancy. I speak blessing over your home, your table, and your future. May divine provision meet you. May clarity strengthen you. May peace surround you like a shield. If this word touched you, share in the comments how it spoke to your spirit, and stay connected for what heaven is about to reveal next. Go in peace, chosen one. Your breakthrough is already moving toward you.